Quick one, because we're going to take a break here. So, can come up? Have you ever seen him like this before? He's drunk, huh?
Yeah. I wanted to ask something because I don't know what's happening.
Yes. This is one of the symptoms of being drunk. So just be willing to not know anything. You understanding you have plenty of, yeah? You don't need any more to understand anything anymore. Just to stay in love with this truth, with you, that's enough. It's enough. See, strictly speaking, this path is the path of jnana, which means knowledge, which means direct seeing, yeah? And there's another way, you could say, that's called bhakti, which is this divine love affair with God. But what happens is the two paths meet, because to love God, you have to know who God is, yeah? So this is where you recognize this, that you are, and you fall in love with that. And some people are so strictly into the knowledge, yeah, of I'm that, I'm that. But without the bhakta, without the love, it's like it takes two wings on a bird to fly, you see? So this is this love affair. Now you're feeling drunk with this love, you see? We've tasted something, we've seen something. But now keep this love just directed to you, to that. See? That's it. Then it's finished, you see? You don't have to do anything. Just let this love be for that, for the truth of you. Yes, like this. Even to fall in love with the form of the guru is too much. It becomes an obstacle. There's a beautiful story, I have to tell it. There was a man by the name of Annamalai Swami, and when he was born they did his horoscope, and they said he would become a sadhu. And his father didn't want it, so he decided the best way to keep him from spiritual matters was to not teach him to read or write, because then he couldn't know anything about God. But as it happened, he was a naturally bright person, and there was some bhajans being sung, and he went to the bhajans, and then he started to teach himself to read the spiritual books. And at 16 he was ready to hit the road, be a sadhu. And that's why, if it's meant to be, you can't stop it, yeah? And where did he find himself? At Ramana Ashram. And he showed up at Ramana Ashram not having learned to read or write or anything. And Ramana said, come in, you're welcome, and put him to work building all the buildings in the ashram. This man, who had no previous experience, Ramana just said, no, you're very qualified for this job. And he put him in charge of building. And also he didn't tell the management of ashram that he told this man to work, and he told him, you also don't tell the management that I've told you to do it. You just go to this spot and you start to build, and it has to be this size and like this, and he said, where will the money come from? Bhagwan says, don't worry. You leave that all in the hands of me, of consciousness. You just go and start. And when the ashram management comes and asks you, you just say, I'm doing it. You don't tell them that I told you to do it. So of course this created a big stir, in the ashram, because the management thought they were in charge, and there's this young boy starting to build. And where's the money going to come from? We want it different than, no, and he's just building, you see, and not listening to them. And so this went on for a number of years. And the buildings of the ashram grew, and then he became Bhagwan's personal assistant, and so devoted to Ramana. When Ramana would wash his feet, when he would wash Ramana's feet, afterwards he would drink the water, because this was the water from his master, from God himself. We talk about bhakti in the West, but none of us know. We don't have it, we don't, it's not part of we don't know how to do it. We can't drink the water from our beloved's feet, And so this continued for some time, until Ramana said to him, you've become too attached to my form. You have to go out the ashram, and to the right, 300 meters is a tree, and you sit under that tree, and don't beg. You stay there. And we went and sat under the tree, and to Ranamalai there's thousands of sadhus there. To not beg is tantamount to a death sentence, you could say. But he just trusted Ramana with all his heart, and he sat there, and without asking, food started to be given to him. And over the years, a small little ashram got built around him under this tree. It's still there now today. And he sat there, and everything got taken care of. And he just sat there and sat there. He didn't move. When Ramana was dying, and he heard that his beloved master was leaving the body, and everything in him wanted to go to his master, but his master did not send word for him. And he knew if his master wanted him to come, he would send word. So he just stayed put. And the people that were with Ramana started to talk amongst themselves, and they came to Ramana and they said, Ramana, it's just not right. And Ramana has been with you all these years, and you're so ill, and he's not coming to see you. And Ramana turned to them and said, you are at my feet, and your mind is outside the gate. And Ramana is outside the gate, and his mind is with me. And when Ramana had left the body, they washed his body, and they took some of the water to Ramana, and he drank this water also. Such devotion. And when he died just a couple of years ago, Ramana, but when you saw him, such purity, such humility without any humbleness. This was the living personification of humility. Absolutely immersed in Ramana.